Welcome, family. I am so glad you're here. My name is Ticola Spruill, founder of True North Life Design. And this series, I'm sharing with you my wisdom curriculum for people who are ready to stop drifting and start living on purpose. For those of you who are trying to close the gap between the life you're living and the life you know you were built for, you are in the right place. Here, I'll share with you life strategies, transformative wisdom, and a practical framework for designing a life that is in alignment with your truth, your purpose, your power, and your deepest values. If this is your first time here, welcome to The Threshold. Subscribe, turn on your notifications, and let's get in alignment with our true north together. Because what I'm building in my playlist is not a collection of motivational moments. It is a complete wisdom system, a framework for understanding yourself, understanding life, and designing a life that actually fits who you are encoded to be. And trust me, you're going to want to be here for all of it. If you've been here before, welcome back. Share this lesson with someone who needs it today. You already know why. Let us get into it. I want to ask you something, and I need you to be honest with yourself when you answer it. Not with me, with yourself. When was the last time you woke up and felt genuinely, unmistakably alive? Not just rested, not just okay, not just managing, but alive, like you were fully inside of your own life rather than watching it from a careful distance. For some of you, that question lands immediately. You know exactly what I'm talking about because you remember what it felt like to feel alive, and you remember when it stopped feeling that way. For others, that question produces a quiet ache because you're not sure you have ever felt that, not fully, not in a way that you could name and point to it and say, yes, that is what I'm here for, right? And for some of you, the question almost makes you angry because you've been working so hard, doing everything you were told to do, checking every box, meeting every obligation, and somewhere in the middle of all that, the feeling of being alive quietly left the building. Wherever you are right now, I need you to know something before we go any further. You are not broken, you are not behind, and you are most certainly not alone. You are at a threshold, and thresholds are not endings. They are exactly where the most important beginnings happen. There's a difference between living and being alive. Every person watching this video right now is living. Your heart is beating, your lungs are working, you're moving through your days, managing your responsibilities, navigating your relationships, pursuing your goals. By every measure, by every standard, you're alive. But aliveness is something different. Aliveness is not a biological fact. It is a quality of relationship, your relationship with who you actually are and with the life that you made. And here's where the wisdom explosion happens. I need you to sit with this right now. You cannot function perfectly on the outside while something essential is going quietly extinct on the inside. Okay? That's living. But that's also what's meant by the term the walking dead. We were never taught to make this distinction. We were taught to perform, to achieve, to manage, to maintain. We were given a map for how to survive in the world. And nobody told us that surviving the world and actually living your life are two completely different journeys. So most people spend enormous energy, real, genuine, precious human energy, building a life that looks right from the outside while feeling increasingly hollow on the inside. And they cannot explain the hollowness because from the outside, everything appears to be working. That gap between the life being lived and the life your deepest self is calling you toward, that gap is the signal. That is a life trying to get your attention, and it has been trying through the restlessness, through the exhaustion, through the recurring feeling that something important is missing even when nothing specific is wrong. It's been trying to bring you to exactly this moment. Welcome to the threshold. Welcome to True North Life Design. True North Life is not a destination. It is an orientation. It is the direction your deepest self is always pointing, the alignment between who you actually are in truth and how you're actually living. When you're oriented toward your true north, you feel it, not always as comfort, but always as aliveness, as rightness, as the specific and unmistakable feeling of being fully inside of your own life. When you're pointed away from it, you feel that too, as drift, as friction, as the low-grade exhaustion of being slightly misaligned with yourself day after day after day. The foundation of everything we're going to do today rests on one central truth. And I need you to receive this not just as an idea, but as something you allow to land in your body. You were not put here to merely survive your life. You were encoded by the same intelligence that encodes every seed with a blueprint of what it is meant to become, with a specific potential, a specific call, a specific and irreplaceable contribution that the world actually needs from you. Not a generic version of you, not the version that was shaped entirely by other people's expectations and your own accumulated fears. The real version, the encoded version, the version that knows somewhere beneath all the noise exactly what it's here for. That version of you is not lost. It has not been destroyed by your history or your circumstances or your mistakes. It has simply been waiting with the patience that only life intelligence possesses for you to stop running from yourself and to start running toward yourself. That is what True North Life Design is all about, and it is my mission to help you do it. If you have not already, subscribe right now and share this with someone in your life who you know is standing at a threshold just like this one, because wisdom shared doubles every time. I want to introduce you to what I call the Aliveness Framework that underpins everything I will ever teach. We're going to go deep because each principle of this framework is profound enough to have its own dedicated lesson. But I want you to have the map before we start the journey. The Aliveness Framework rests on one fundamental law, one that governs everything in existence, from the movement of the planets to the seasons of your own life. It's called the law of polarity. Everything in life has two poles, hot and cold, expansion, contraction, life positive and life negative. These are not enemies or opposing forces. They are the full spectrum of a single intelligent reality, and your experience moves along that spectrum every single day. It is a principle of life. Life is actively, intelligently, structurally organized around the flourishing of everything within it, including you. No, especially you. The same intelligence that supplies the rose with exactly what it is encoded to be, a rose bush, the right soil, the right moisture, the right light, the right nutrients, in the right quantities at the right time. That same intelligence is organized around the seeds of your potential. You're not navigating this alone, and you never were. But here is where the human story gets complicated. Unlike the seed, you were given something extraordinary, something no other expression of life was given in quite the same way. You were given the power of conscious choice. The seed cannot choose how it responds to its conditions, but you can. You can choose the lens through which you see your life. You can choose what your circumstances mean. You can choose which pole, life positive or life negative, you orient yourself from. And that choice, made consciously or unconsciously, made directly or by default, made in faith or in fear, is not a small private matter. It is the signal you send out into the universe that is listening, and life, being the responsive and benevolent intelligence that it is, will organize itself around whatever signal you send. I'm going to stop right there. I want you to let that sit. That life will organize itself around whatever signal you send. Each week, we'll get better acquainted with all of this so you can grow to understand it more deeply and to live it more fully. Every lesson in True North Life Design ends with one thing, a practice. One thing to take into your actual life before the next lesson. Here's your practice for lesson 1. Tonight, or right now, if you have a moment, find somewhere quiet, just 2 minutes, right? No phone, no noise, and ask yourself this question honestly. Where in my life do I feel most like myself? And where in my life do I feel furthest from myself? Don't analyze it. Don't try to fix it. Write it down if that helps. Let the answer come from somewhere below your thinking mind, right? That noticing, the honest, uncomfortably clear noticing of where you are. That's the first act of True North navigation. You cannot find your true north from a location you're pretending not to be in. Here's what I want to leave you with today. The fact that you're here, that something in you said yes to this conversation, it's not a coincidence. It is your encoded self doing what encoded selves do. Reaching, calling, moving in the direction of the bloom it was always meant to become. You don't have to figure it all out. You don't have to know exactly where you're going. You don't have to feel ready. You have to just be willing to stand in the threshold, and you already are. You already did. You showed up today. That is not a small thing. That is everything. In lesson 2, we're going to go deeper into the world you were handed versus the life you're actually coded for. And we're going to start dismantling the beliefs that have been keeping you from the distance between those two things. You don't want to miss that one. Subscribe if you have not already. Turn on your notifications so you never miss a lesson. Share this video with someone who is ready, because trust me, someone in your life needs to hear this today. And until next time, keep moving toward your true north, because life is not against you, beloved. It never was. It is for you. It has always been for you. And it has been patiently waiting for you to finally believe that. I'll see you in the next video.